welcome to another episode of Red.head.med. Thank you guys for joining me on my new series, The Road to Residency. This week, the first week, we're going to be reacting to the Step 1 score that I'm supposed to be receiving this morning at around like 11 a.m., 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. So yeah, that's very exciting. So I made this playlist so that it documents like what I'm experiencing in terms of applying to residency, all the vulnerabilities, and what I wish my peers would have told me in terms of applying to residency and what happens behind closed doors. So for those of you guys that don't know what Step 1 is, it is the first part of a 3-part exam series that all medical students have to take in order to get their certification to practice. So Step 1 itself is 280 questions and it's about 8 hours. And it focuses on what you learned between your first and second year of med school. The test costs about $600 and you have to take it at like a specific testing center. They don't allow you guys to take it like at your medical school. For dedicated, most people take about 2 months off for studying, but some people study throughout the entire year of their second year. It really just depends on what score you're trying to aim for. If you're trying to aim for like a 260 or something, I'd definitely suggest studying for like a whole year out. Otherwise 2 months should be enough. In terms of my personal story and my personal experience of Step 1, I had to take it after my third year, after my clerkships, because it was written into my school's curriculum, which was interesting because it was not fun to take after my clerkships because I only had a 2-day break. I took my IM shelf, I think April 23rd, and then I started studying like for Step 1 April 25th. So I'm like really exhausted and really tired because of this experience. The shelf exams in and of themselves are really hard. So to transition between that and studying for dedicated was awful, but that's okay because I survived at the end. I took Step 1 June 21st on a Monday. And yeah, after taking the like 8-hour, 9-hour exam, I felt like okay, like decent. I was just like, it is what it is. Like no matter what question I got wrong, I can't go back and change it. So it doesn't even matter. The interesting thing about Step 1 is that the year that I took it, it is still scored and you can only take it once. It's not like the MCAT where you could retake it if you don't like the score that you get. The score that you get with passing is the score that you have for like the rest of your life, which is honestly very nerve-wracking and like really like annoying because that does not really dictate how I will be as an actual physician or clinician. It puts a lot of pressure on the students and thankfully they have changed it to pass-fail, but I think that in only changing Step 1 to pass-fail and leaving Step 2 to still be scored does not really eliminate the problem. In fact, it kind of makes it worse because now students are going to have to like experience the same anxiety I felt in their third year to determine like what specialty they can like actually match into, which is not really good. It's like really detrimental. They claim that that Step 2 is easier. No, the material is hard. I think that the curve is a little bit more generous and that the questions make more sense. I haven't taken Step 2 yet. I'm only talking about in terms of the UWorld set that I've actually completed, but I don't think that they should have made Step 1 pass-fail if they didn't also make Step 2 pass-fail as well. But I feel like just having Step 1 being pass-fail is really going to alleviate a lot of the mental distress that a lot of us who took it as a scored exam had to experience during dedicated because it was honestly nerve-wracking. I felt so inadequate, especially being like a third year. I was like, dang, I feel like I'm not smart enough to take this in my second year. So like I feel dumbed down and had to take it in my third year. It just did not feel good. Like talking to other med students coming into their fourth year and they already know their step score. And I'm like, well, like I'm like hoping to do this specialty, but like I don't even know because I don't have my step score. And for me, my specialty of choice is going to hopefully be emergency medicine, but we will see as the application cycle goes on. Yeah, that was just like my personal opinion. I know that a lot of the people that I talked to and peers have felt the same way, that the test is kind of unfair and that it's like determines your future, almost like the Bee movie where they like pre-select the bees to like do whatever job that little like selection thing chooses them to do. Yeah, that's just how I feel about this whole experience. I was really lucky in that I had a great partner. to really, like, we listen to each other's like complaints, not complaints, but like our worries and our like what stresses us out about the exams, a place to vent. So be mindful about like comparing yourself to other people's scores, because some people are going to be like, for my first MBME I got a 260, and then for my second one I got a 270. Like, I want to listen to the underdog stories. I want to know who got like a 160 and then made it back to like a 240 or something like that. Like, those are the type of people you need to like read about and see what they did, because the people that got the 270s and the 260s can sometimes be the people who skip class or skip group projects in order to study and to advance themselves in the step 1 way. Also, my advice to any pre-med or any like first year medical student watching this is to make sure you are saving your money so that you can buy resources for the exam. There's no point of living in an apartment that costs like $2,000 for a studio, unless you're like in New York or like LA, in order to like flex. Like, no, save your money, live poor, live like a resident, because like these exams are expensive. So overall, my experience, I feel like the best word or adjective that describes this whole experience is like tired. I'm tired. Having a 2-day break in between I am shelf and step 1 dedicated and then doing the dedicated has been disastrous. I've been tired, just sleeping. Like, I wouldn't say I feel like depressed, but it's just like an overall like sadness and anxiety that I'm sure many people experience during this like wait that doesn't need to be this long. But I'm hopeful. I've, you know, used my family as like a support system, my wonderful boyfriend, my friends, and yeah, just making sure to like really like just pray about it and just believing in myself. Like, I'm like, if I could pass these clerkships, I can pass step 1. It may take a lot of work to pass step 1, but I can do it. It's annoying, but it is medicine. And I think the thing that motivated me the most in terms of this exam is that I realized that it wasn't just for myself but for my patient, that like I needed to pass, because I really think that, you know, there needs to be more doctors like me in the world, as like narcissistic as that sounds. That's not what I'm trying to say, but more doctors of color, more doctors who are empathetic, INFJs, like just more people like me. And you know, like that's why there's like diversity in medicine. There needs to be doctors that come from every different like background, every different type of personality. So like I was just thinking like I'm doing this for my patient. It's annoying. I don't want to take these tests. I hate taking tests, but I'm doing it for my future patients and for the opportunity to get there, because like this has been a really long journey since undergrad to taking the MCAT to passing the first 2 years to passing every clerkship. So I just had to believe in myself, even when like the devil, the thoughts that were like, oh, you're not good enough, were like really creeping in.
How did I go down?
Were really creeping in at all points of the day. So yeah, just staying positive. And yeah, that's how I feel like I did, just positive thoughts. I'm hoping, and I'm sure I passed according to my practice exams. But yeah, if I do well, I'll make a video about how I studied, probably next week or the week after. So yeah, feel free to share this video with anybody who is taking step 1, especially after their clerkship years, because there's not too many of us that do that. So yeah, thank you guys, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. Right, the moment that I've been waiting 3 years of my life for. I'm like so nervous. Like, it's like this wait has just been so depressing and so bad for like my like anxiety and mental health. Right, I'm clicking on it. I'm about to click it. It's taking forever to load. I passed. And I got above my goal score. God is so good. Oh my God.
told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but y'all don't understand. I wasn't allowed to take this test until my 3rd year, and it just made me feel so inadequate compared to like every other med student who got to take it their 2nd year. I forgot most of this material after my clerkship year, and when I started dedicated, I was barely like, I didn't pass like the first 2 MPMEs that I took, and from today I can report that I did like 50 points better than I did during my first practice exam. Like, God is so good, because I came out of the exam like not knowing like how to feel, like if I had passed it or like what had happened, because like for like 2 of the blocks like I had like half of the questions marked. Yeah, but like today like proves to me that I am just as smart as everybody out there, and I'm really thankful to God for pushing me through that dedicated and for pushing me through these years, and for my family. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Ooh. I'm gonna go call my parents. Thank you guys for tuning in for this very special week. Next week I'm gonna tell you guys how I was able to increase my score by 50 points. So make sure to click subscribe, comment, and share with a friend who's studying and struggling with step 1. Thank you.